Starlife Strange Love September 2021 teasers. Wed the 1st of September 2021. Episode 321. Niranjan ignores Sojal, who rants about Varad's affair with Manasseh. Later, he becomes infuriated on seeing Shlok and Asta inside the elevator. Meanwhile, Shlok accidentally spills coffee on Asta's laptop and offers to help. Asta gladly accepts the offer, just to spend some time with him. Episode 322. Shlok asks Asta to maintain her distance. Ankush continues to create chaos in Kalindi's house. In conversation with Anjali, Sojal blames Asta for Varad's extramarital affair. When confronted by Asta, Mansi asks her to stay away from her personal matters. Thursday, the 2nd of September 2021. Episode 323. Varad tells Asta that he and Sojal are not compatible. Sojal criticizes Niranjan before apologizing to Anjali. She then decides to stay with Anjali. Meanwhile, Asta informs Shlok of Varad's extramarital affair. Episode 324. Asta tells Niranjan that Shlok and Varad will know his true colors soon. Manasseh feels betrayed by Asta and Sojal. Asta and Anjali then comfort the heartbroken Sojal. Meanwhile, Asta decides to buy a property for an education center. She calls her house to speak to Avadhut, but Ankush answers the call. Friday, the 3rd of September 2021. Episode 325. Ankush realizes that Asta is Kalindi's weakness, and takes advantage of it. After her car breaks down, Asta is offered a ride home by Shlok. They get stuck on the way because of the rain. Meanwhile, Kalindi does not let Ankush to enter for reaching home late. Episode 326. Denied entry, Ankush breaks Kalindi's door. Shlok asks Asta to sleep in the car. However, she returns to the tent. Shlok then asks her to drink brandy to counter the cold. She becomes intoxicated and dances with Shlok. Later, she finds a snake on Shlok's leg and throws it away. Saturday, the 4th of September 2021. Episode 327. Niranjan daydreams that Shlok is aware of his misdeeds. While Kavya refuses to speak to Varad, Asta and Shlok return to the Agnihotri house. Shlok tells Niranjan that Asta rescued him from a snake. Jyoti suggests Varad to reconcile with Sojal. Episode 328. Jyoti ignores Renuka when asked about her morale. Later, an auto rickshaw driver abducts Asta with the help of a few goons. Meanwhile, Siddharth assures Renuka that he will condemn Jyoti for her actions. Will Asta manage to escape from the abductors? Sunday, the 5th of September 2021. Episode 329. After escaping from the abductors, Asta reaches the meeting venue. Shlok helps her with her presentation. The client, impressed by her good work, allows her to collaborate with Shlok on the project. Meanwhile, Ankush returns home in an injured state. Shlok is upset about Asta's abduction. Episode 330. Renuka's friend, Shanti, provokes her against Jyoti. Renuka tries to dominate Jyoti. When Shlok tells about Asta's abduction, Niranjan appears clueless. He becomes dejected when told that Asta's presentation was better than Shlok's. Meanwhile, Renuka's friend provokes her against Jyoti. While Kalindi tends to Ankush's wounds, Asta requests Varad to reconcile with Sojal. Monday, the 6th of September 2021. Episode 331. An apologetic Varad wishes to reconcile with Sojal. To get back with his wife, he asks the heartbroken Mansi to return to Singapore. Meanwhile, Kalindi continues to suffer humiliation courtesy Ankush. Niranjan plans to stir the pot, after listening to Vasad advising Shlok to express his love for Asta. Episode 332. On her way to office, Asta finds Niranjan speaking to her kidnappers. She decides to expose him. Meanwhile, Ankush finds new ways to humiliate Kalindi. When she tries to tend to his injury, Ankush snaps at her. Kalindi continues to suffer the wrath of Ankush's behavior. Tuesday, the 7th of September 2021. Episode 333. Asta mocks Niranjan by seeking his blessings on Dasara. Niranjan breaks her phone to get rid of any evidence. Asta tells him that she has already sent the video to Shlok. Niranjan panics and instructs his subordinates to delete the video from Shlok's phone. Episode 334. Acting on Niranjan's order, Anand deletes the MMS from Shlok's phone. Soon, Niranjan's goons kidnap Asta. Just as Niranjan instructs them to tie Asta to Ravan's idol, Anjali eavesdrops on his telephonic conversation. Wed the 8th of September 2021. Episode 335. Anjali tries to save Asta, but is stopped by Niranjan. Shlok sets Ravan's idol on fire until Asta shouts his name. He rescues Asta after noticing her in the CCTV. Niranjan slaps Anjali. Shlok learns Niranjan's true colors. Episode 336. Varad witnesses a heated argument between Anjali and Niranjan. They start to panic as Shlok can't be contacted. A worried Asta follows Shlok's car in an autorickshaw. Shlok recalls Niranjan's deeds and decides to commit suicide. He prepares to jump off the cliff. Thursday, the 9th of September 2021. Episode 337. Niranjan throws Anjali out of the house after the two exchange heated words. Shlok addresses Anjali as his mother for the first time, and embraces her. He decides to leave the Agnihotri house with the family. Niranjan pretends to be innocent. Meanwhile, Avathoth wants Kalindi to tell Asta about Ankush. Episode 338. Niranjan fails to stop Shlok from leaving the Agnihotri house along with Anjali and Asta. Shlok confronts Niranjan for his deeds before ending their relationship. Shlok leaves his valuables behind, and instructs Asta to leave her jewelry. Anjali and Sojal follow Asta. Niranjan is left alone. Friday, the 10th of September 2021. Episode 339. Anjali pleads with Varad and Sojal to stay back in the Agnihotri house, and not leave Niranjan alone. Varad agrees, but his family refuses to return to the house. Meanwhile, Shlok has a fight with a stranger, who nearly ran into Anjali with his motorbike. Episode 340. Shlok tends to Anjali's injured leg. They spend the night in a bus stand. Shlok suggests Asta to stay in her paternal house for a few days, but in vain. Meanwhile, Varad is insulted when asked to join Niranjan's business. Stranded without a home and food, Shlok goes job seeking. Saturday, the 11th of September 2021. Episode 341. Having failed to secure a job, Shlok saves Anjali from becoming a victim of a street fight. Asta feels Shlok must enroll Anjali in an old age home. Meanwhile, Ankush asks Kalindi to sign some documents. Niranjan misses Shlok's hardworking attitude at his workplace. Episode 342. An apologetic Shlok assures Mr. and Mrs. Godbole of a secure future. He decides to drive a taxi to earn money. Meanwhile, Varad starts to replace Shlok in office meetings. He decides to manage Agnihotri group of institutions, until Shlok returns to his responsibilities. Sunday, the 12th of September 2021. Episode 343. Asta lies to Anjali about Shlok's job and says that they are living in a lodge. Shlok sees Niranjan while driving a taxi. Jyoti is shocked to learn about Shlok, Asta and Anjali leaving the Agnihotri house. Later, Shlok brings saris for Asta. Meanwhile, Kalindi frets over Ankush's attitude. Episode 344. Asta and Shlok romance in their lodge. The next day, they refurbish their space. Shlok thanks Asta for being a part of his life. Meanwhile, Kavya hopes for them to return home. Later, Jyoti visits the Agnihotri house to confront Niranjan. Monday, the 13th of September 2021. Episode 345. Varad manages the office in Shlok's absence. Asta requests Sojal to not inform her parents about her condition. Avathoot sees Shlok driving a taxi and follows it, in an auto rickshaw. Asta returns to see Avathoot and Kalindi in their lodge. Meanwhile, Kalindi panics on not finding Ankush in the house. Episode 346. Asta tells Kalindi and Avathoot about the adversities faced by Shlok, Anjali and herself. Kalindi understands their reason for living in a lodge. Though Shlok initially disapproves of it, Kalindi convinces them to move to her house. Meanwhile, Niranjan feels guilty and remembers Shlok. Tuesday, the 14th of September 2021. Episode 347. Varad and Sojal are unable to contact Asta and Shlok. Later, Shlok refuses to answer the media about his disagreements with Niranjan. A picture of Shlok driving a taxi is published in the newspaper. An upset Niranjan asks Varad to bring Shlok back home. Episode 348. Varad and Sojal witness Shlok and Asta traveling in a bus. Having prevented Sojal from stopping them, Varad lies to Niranjan that he could not spot them. Meanwhile, Renuka is saddened on losing money deposited to an unauthorized bank. Later, Shlok and Asta get off the bus at a dhaba. Wed the 15th of September 2021. Episode 349. Varad tells Sojal that he has become selfish since Niranjan is depending on him. Therefore, he decides to win Niranjan's love. Meanwhile, Shlok and Asta board a truck and reach Mumbai. Asta tries to make arrangements for their accommodation, without Shlok's knowledge. Episode 350. Shlok and Asta have arrived in Mumbai and Shlok requests a property agent to arrange for their accommodation. When he sees Asta with a stranger, he asks her to be careful about who she trusts in a city like Mumbai.
Thursday, the 16th of September 2021. Episode 351. Asta and Shlok witness an argument between Apsara and her mother-in-law Shanta, who does not want Shlok and Asta to stay in their house. Later, Apsara plays Peeping Tom, invading the protagonist's privacy. Will Asta and Shlok continue to stay at a house they're not welcome in? Episode 352. Avathoot is shocked to see Ankush's wife, Mala. Asta and Shlok spend the night outside the house, which leads to Apsara and Asta indulging in an argument. Will Shlok be able to secure a job in the big city? Friday, the 17th of September 2021. Episode 353. Niranjan, Sojal and Kavya visit the old age home. Anjali gives a box of sweets and a handkerchief to Kavya. Shlok gifts a pair of anklets to Asta. Will Niranjan learn that Anjali is in the old age home too? Episode 354. It's Diwali and everyone is in a festive mood. Kalindi gifts a necklace to Mala. Shlok and Asta explore the city on a motorcycle. Anjali sneaks into the compound of the Agnihotri house and lights diyas. Saturday, the 18th of September 2021. Episode 355. On getting to know that Anand has informed Niranjan that Varad is taking risks in the business, Varad transfers Anand to Chennai. On the occasion of Shlok's wedding anniversary, Niranjan gives a donation to the priests, expecting him to return home. Shlok's neighbors mock him as he performs household work. Episode 356. Shlok prepares for an important interview while Asta plays a trick on Apsara. Niranjan wants Shlok to return from Mumbai for good. Mala and Ankush pretend to have a feud which upsets Kalindi immensely. Will Shlok get the job he is hoping for, or will he go back home as Niranjan wishes? Sunday, the 19th of September 2021. Episode 357. Jaya informs Sojal about her plan of acquiring the Agnihotri property. Later, a displeased Jyoti asks Sojal about Shlok and Asta's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Asta makes the arrangements to celebrate her wedding anniversary while Shlok strives to get a job. Episode 358. Varad asks Sojal to hide the newspaper from Niranjan. A dejected Shlok informs Asta that he has failed to secure a job, but they brush that aside for the moment and celebrate their wedding anniversary. What is Varad trying to conceal from Niranjan? Monday, the 20th of September 2021. Episode 359. Everyone is dismayed that Niranjan evicted Shlok from his property. Varid hides the newspaper which bore the news, but in vain. Unaware of Varid's ill motives, Jyoti asks him about Niranjan's decision. Episode 360. Shlok is shattered to learn that Niranjan has evicted him from his property. Varid pretends to care for Shlok and gifts a necklace to Jyoti on the occasion on Bhiduj. Will Jyoti catch on to Varid's true nature? Tuesday, the 21st of September 2021. Episode 361. An angry Astha rebukes Apsara for insulting her. Apsara decides to ruin Chaukasi's party and spikes the chef's juice. Later, the chef takes ill and refuses to cook for the party. Episode 362. Apsara and Shanta are delighted to see Chaukasi and Rekha worried. Astha offers to help Chaukasi and she takes the responsibility of cooking. An infuriated guest gets agitated with the delay. Wednesday, the 22nd of September 2021. Episode 363. Astha impresses the guests with her culinary skills. Chaukasi and Rekha suggest to Shlok and Astha to open a restaurant. Sachin informs Astha about Apsara's misdeeds against Chaukasi and his family. How will Chaukasi react when he discovers the truth? Episode 364. Anjali requests Kavya that she should not reveal her whereabouts to the family. Astha and Shlok have an intense discussion about the restaurant which delights Apsara. Sojal and Jaya ask Kavya about Anjali's whereabouts. Thursday, the 23rd of September 2021. Episode 365. Astha injures herself while chasing Shlok and he apologizes to Astha for his mistake. Apsara feels jealous on witnessing Shlok's affection for Astha. Shanta becomes enraged at Apsara for her lewd behavior towards Shlok. Episode 366. An infuriated Shlok asks Apsara to stay away from him. Later, Astha informs Shlok that they need about 1 lakh rupees to start their food truck business. Will Shlok agree to Astha's idea? Friday, the 24th of September 2021. Episode 367. An infuriated Renuka scolds Jyoti and accuses her of ruining Riya's proposed marriage. Astha buys hand-me-downs from a scrap dealer who agrees to payment in installments. Meanwhile, Niranjan asks a detective, Ritesh, to search for Shlok. Episode 368. Astha mortgages the gold coins to raise money for groceries for the food truck. Chaukasi promises Astha that he will not reveal to Shlok that she mortgaged the coins. Astha lies to Shlok that she borrowed the money for groceries from Chaukasi. Saturday, the 25th of September 2021. Episode 369. Apsara reveals to Shlok that Astha sold the gold coins. However, Astha manages the situation by showing fake gold coins to Shlok and he apologizes to Astha for suspecting her. A delighted Astha informs Shlok about their food truck business. Episode 370. Shlok and Astha inaugurate their food truck business. Mala informs Ankush about her plan against Kalindi and Astha's grandmother. Shlok informs Astha that he has secured a job at an institute. Sunday, the 26th of September 2021. Episode 371. Ankur and his parents visit Renuka's house to meet Riya. Niranjan is sad when he thinks about Shlok and shares his miseries with Varid. An angry Apsara rebukes Rekha for insulting her. Shlok's senior colleague praises him for his presentation. Episode 372. Astha informs Anjali that Shlok has secured a job in an institution. An infuriated Shlok rebukes the chairman of the institute for accusing Niranjan. The chairman terminates Shlok for his misbehavior. Shlok tells Astha that he has been fired. Monday, the 27th of September 2021. Episode 373. Shlok and Astha spend some romantic moments together. Apsara searches Shlok and Astha's room to learn if the gold coins are real. Sachin blackmails Apsara and threatens to reveal her misdeed to Astha. Episode 374. Niranjan asks Varid to think about Shlok's previous projects. He praises Shlok for his business acumen. An infuriated Varid decides to acquire Niranjan's business. Meanwhile, Shlok brings a television to attract the customers to their food truck. Tuesday, the 28th of September 2021. Episode 375. Shlok and Astha make a video of their food truck and send it to Anjali. Meanwhile, Apsara is delighted when she learns that the gold coins are fake. An infuriated Shlok scolds Astha for lying to him about the gold coins. Episode 376. Sachin reveals Apsara's misdeed to Astha. following which Astha confronts Apsara for her discourteous behavior. Shanta also confronts Apsara for her insolent behavior towards Shlok. Later, a dejected Astha apologizes to Shlok for lying to him. Will Shlok forgive Astha? Wednesday, the 29th of September 2021. Episode 377. Renuka and Siddharth discuss Riya's proposed marriage. Varad asks his employee to design a new logo for their company. Meanwhile, Shlok and Astha try to make each other feel jealous. The situation gets intense when a few goons start behaving lewdly with Astha. Episode 378. An infuriated Shlok scolds Astha for her behavior. Astha informs Chokasi that Apsara provoked Shlok against her. Meanwhile, Astha's grandmother confronts Kalindi for comparing Astha with Ankush. She vows to find the reason behind Ankush's changed behavior. Thursday, the 30th of September 2021. Episode 379. Shanta is worried about her sister's ill health. Kavya makes fun of Jaya. An infuriated Ankush asks Mala to stay out of his personal affairs. Meanwhile, a dejected Astha informs Shlok that she has mortgaged the gold coins. Episode 380. An infuriated Renuka confronts Jyoti for interfering in Riya's personal affairs. Meanwhile, an employee of the municipal office informs Astha that her food truck is illegal without a valid food business license.
Please subscribe.